We are both here for a new episode. I feel like we should chunk. This should be like the start of a new season. I feel like I don't know why I want that, but I feel like it should be the start of a new season for yes, a new season for a reason.
Yeah, new season because it was a long break basically.
Yes.
It was a really long break. Oh my gosh. So, since the last episode's footage was kind of lost, what was the topic like? What did we talk about last time?
I could not tell you. I feel like everything this past month, like yeah, because this is like the last whole week of August, has honestly just been like a really big blur in my mind. I don't know why, but it just has been like a big blur.
Yeah, same. Same.
Okay, good.
I recently started taking new medication for my ADHD. I've been taking some extended release Ritalin rather than the immediate release that I was taking before because I kept getting really hard crashes. Um,
Ooh,
yeah, whenever I like at the end of like the time that the medicine's coming off, and I really hated it, so I never really took it. And so because I never really took it and I didn't like it, I wouldn't use them a lot. So I finally talked to my whichever psychologist, psychiatrist, whichever one it is, and I was like, "Hey, this is happening. Is there any fix that we can do?" He was like, "Hey, why not try long release, extended release?" I tried it and it's perfect. I don't have that. I don't have those hard crashes anymore. It's the worst feeling in the world.
that's good. I'm glad you found like a solution to your problems.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been like super productive uh ever since because I've been actually able to take the medication. So yeah, I'm chilling. I'm making a lot of stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff. Uh Hopefully the fruits of my labor will be, visible soon enough.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I hope soon. Okay, I don't even know where to start. Like, I know our last episode or maybe we didn't because we Discord sometimes. But like I told you, like last week, I woke up with like hives. So like all of August, I literally went to the ER. I went to the ER two times. I had two like primary care appointments, and
Mm-hmm.
then or no, probably three. So two ER visits, nothing came about it, and it was like so annoying. And then hives for like 2 days, and like three primary care appointments. I tested negative for COVID. This is like my fourth test I've taken, so that's like good. But I'm just gonna dwindle it down to like allergies. Like that's all I can think of right now. It's just allergies. So I'm glad your health is like 100. Mine's like a shaky like 85.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the ER as well a couple weeks ago, and apparently, if you didn't know, if you're taking a lot of like cold medication, uh, it can actually mess with your bladder. I think it's mainly just the bladder in general, um, or I don't know. There's like a I know it's in guys. I don't know. I don't know about like the I
Yeah.
was never taught in like the female, stuff for the sex ed or whatever. But for guys, you have like these two kind of pathways, and one's for when you for your your cum, and the other one's for piss. And to make sure that that doesn't happen at the same time that you're fucking, those pathways will close and open depending on what's needed, basically. Um, so apparently, cold medicine can fuck with your those pathways. It can confuse them.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I could not pee for a long time, and I was like, huh, I should probably look into this.
Oh
Uh,
my.
and then after a while, I was like, all right, I'm not being able to pee, and I kind of have to, so let's go to the doctor. Let's see what's going on. I went to the ER, and surprise, surprise, like after like 20 to 30 minutes in there, because I had to wait a long time before even getting looked at. I was finally like at my limit because I had to use the bathroom so fucking bad, and so they were gonna give me a CAT scan to make sure that everything was okay or
Oh my
whatever.
gosh.
Yeah, and then like right before I was getting on the CAT scan, I was like, I really have to use the bathroom, and I was like, how long is this gonna take? And they're like, oh, it's not gonna take that long. And I was like, you know what? And now they were like, "Do you want to try?" And I was like, I had tried previously like 5 minutes before, maybe 5 minutes before, and it didn't work out. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, because I have to pee really really bad. Let's try. What's the worst that could happen? Well, the best thing that could happen happened, and I was able to pee, and I was like, okay, well, it seemed that the proper medical procedure to do there was just to wait until my body was like, okay, I know what's going on now. You basically just have to wait for the medication to pass through your system. Um, so yeah, I went to the doctor and they still haven't sent me the bill yet, and so so I can't wait to get a gigantic bill for something that they didn't even fix.
Well, at least you did not have to go through a CAT scan, so that probably saved you a good like 10 grand
Oh no,
right
I had to go
there,
to
five
the. I
grand.
I went still went through the CAT scan because they were like, oh, we have to make sure that everything's
Really?
okay. Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I'm fine, and just walk out.
It was very strange because so like there so I'm not gonna go super far into detail, but I didn't feel comfortable talking about like the troubles that I was having completely with because it was a lady doctor, and I was like, and the things that I was talking about was a lot with my dick, and I don't feel comfortable talking about my dick
Yeah.
in front of ladies. It's really weird. So what happened was we first started. So what happened was I think she told me what was going on, and then I think I had said, hey, by the way, like, do you know how much any of this is gonna cost? Like, do you have any idea of like the price of any of this? And basically, the consensus, by the way, is that no one knows. None of the doctors or anything or any of the nurses know how much it could possibly be. So you have no fucking clue how much you're going to be fucking paying for any of the stuff that they ask you to do. So you're basically being tricked into doing every single possible thing because they're just like, oh, we don't know what's going to price like, and it's not their fault, of course. It's the people who own the systems or whatever's fault. But
Mm-hmm.
you should have some sort of um
Like
so
general
yeah,
average.
some sort of like average or something like that to give somebody an idea instead of just being like, oh yeah, just hope that you don't fucking break the bank. But so I was like, hey, do you have any idea how much this is gonna cost or whatever? And she was like, no, not at all. Whatever, just tell me what's going on. And then I started getting into it, and then again because I started feeling uncomfortable, I was like, oh, like is it like is it okay if like I can get like a guy like nurse or doctor in here? And
Mm-hmm.
the problem is that is well, here's what I think the problem is. The problem was the adjacency of our previous conversation to this question. Because when I said I was getting started, is that the first thing that came out of my mouth was basically, "Hey, can I talk to like a guy doctor?" So I think from her perspective, I was saying when I asked her how the pricing of it, and she was like, "No, I don't know the pricing of it." And like we kind of had like a small back and forth, not a negative back and forth, but just kind of like a "Are you sure?" type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so me asking for the guy, I think in her perspective was me trying to say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me just get a
Mm.
guy in here who knows more than you're talking about." But in my eyes, I'm like, "Oh no,
I just feel
yeah, I
uncomfortable.
just feel uncomfortable." And so she got visibly like upset, and I was just like, "Oh shit, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just trying to say it." And then like you could tell that she just kind of stopped, like she closed off her understanding portion of her brain, and she was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like through with it or whatever. And I was like, that's not what I meant. And she was just like, she wasn't budging at all. So I think when I started telling her what was going on, and I started getting into it, then she kind of understood that I was actually that like the reason why I had
Very
said that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. And so like a couple minutes later, they finally got like the guy nurse over, and like they and like he they like put me in the room with him alone, and I talked to him like that and stuff like that. And I'd already told her everything because I was like, you know what, I can't get out of this, so might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just find it funny because like it's listen. You gotta listen to people. Like even if you think that if you only hear one thing from somebody, you can't jump to conclusions on like the surround on like the context of it or on the meaning of that certain thing. You kind of have to figure you have to delve deeper into that. I feel like so like in my if I guess if I were on the other uh if I was on the other side, instead of like getting immediately angry and just being like, oh, no, I would just be like, oh, why? Like, why? What's going on? And then I would respond as the guy who asked for it. I was like, oh, I just feel kind of uncomfortable saying this, and then boom, everything would be perfect. I'd understand. It's like, okay, I get you, and we would, get everything on with. But instead, she got mad and made me feel even more uncomfortable. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. That was my ER experience. You weren't the only one going to the ER, but I didn't necessarily need to go to the ER. It was just very weird.
Well, I feel like honestly, like, okay, so how many days did you notice that you weren't peeing until you went to the ER
It was just a
though?
day. It wasn't even that long.
Day?
Yeah, it was basically the entire day. So like that entire
Okay.
yeah. So from the morning on, like I was like, oh, I gotta
Hmm.
use the bathroom at the very early in the morning, and then I was drinking more water because I thought that I just had to. Oh yeah, that was also a thing because I thought that maybe I just had to like fill it up so that it was more likely to pass through. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, that just ended up making me have to use the bathroom more, and then not being able to use the bathroom, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, it
wow.
was just a day. Yeah.
Yeah, that, mm, mm. I don't even know what to say to that. That would suck though. Just that feeling, that urge, like every 30 minutes, your body's like, okay, use the bathroom. And you sit on the
Yep.
toilet or stand and you're just like, nothing's literally coming out.
Yep.
Hello. Are
Yep.
we okay inside? No, I guess not. Yeah,
uh,
I did not go to the ER for not being able to pee. I went because I was having really bad, just like shortness of breath. Like it was so strange. Like the second time I went, I felt so bad. Like I was at work by myself, just like working in QuickBooks, like doing nothing. And someone came in that like works in that same office and then left. And so I'm like the only one in the building. And I felt like this wave of just like I could not breathe and my heart rate was like at a 144 and I
mm,
couldn't calm down. And I was like, and I literally the morning, like that morning, I only had like 2 sips of like caffeinated tea, but I could just feel my body just like go higher and higher. And I was like texting my husband, I was like, can you please pick me up and just like take me to the ER on base? Like,
mm,
please. Like I don't feel good. Like this is not how I should normally feel. And I ended up going, got a COVID test. It was negative, but they had to like stick me like 4 times because I have baby veins and they stuck me in my hand and 1 time in my hand and then 3 times in my arms. And I took them like a champ, but it was very uncomfortable. And I was just honestly, when I was like in that bed, I was like, imagine if this was Alex. I feel like he could not handle it because I'm just sitting here like, I'm fine. It's fine. Ooh, that really fucking hurt. Like the last one when he finally got it,
mm.
I was just like, damn. Like, I feel like you couldn't handle that. But, anyways, besides the
Yeah.
back. But then I just got like a chest x ray, and then they were like, oh, you're fine. Just like, keep a diary, avoid probably caffeine, and you're healthy. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And then like 2 days later, I got hives.
Nice. And you
Yes,
still don't know why?
so I don't. And I went to the doctor this morning at like 8 a.m. and they were just like, well, I mean, it maybe it's
Ooh.
probably seasonal allergies. We don't know. Just keep a diary of the food you eat. And I'm like, nothing has changed in my life. Literally nothing. None of these triggers have changed. Please. Why did I make this appointment and come for you to tell me to keep a diary of food and to avoid triggers and to prescribe me like literally allergy medicine when my husband and I bought myself allergy medicine
Yeah.
at the Dollar General? Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
But I am thankful though that I do have medical insurance, but it's still like anything, just a simple like, oh, just avoid whatever. I don't know what it is about your body, but just avoid it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try my best. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I don't come back. It was just kind of annoying, but also thankful that I do have it. And I also want to say too, like, I'm going to ask you, like, have you ever experienced like a panic attack?
Oh yeah, I have an anxiety disorder. So I get panic attacks very
Oh, yeah.
often.
So you get them. Like, is that how you feel? Like, shortness of breath? Like, you just I don't know. I feel like my head like spins a little, but I just like feel like I can't like catch my breath and like it's like a weird spurt of just like my heart is like going up because the day I had hives, my husband's grandma is a nurse and she's very like hard-headed, very like blunt. And she was just talking to me and then towards the end of the conversation, she's like, "Now listen, Kelsey, if you feel like you're having shortness of breath or your tongue is swelling, you could go into anaphylactic shock. And that's when
Jesus.
your body starts to shut down." And I literally was like, okay, like trying to hold back tears. So I was like, I'm actually freaking out right now because I haven't had hives. I have not had hives since like 2017. And I just went to the ER, but this time I didn't go because I was like, fuck it, I don't want to go. And then after that phone call, I was like, babe, your grandma told me to take Benadryl, like two, but I can only take one. I don't want to take them because I hate how they make you feel drowsy. Like I hate it so much. And he was like, well, you need to take something. And I was like, I cannot take this. And I started like spinning out, I think. And then I laid on the bed and I started crying because I was like, what if I don't wake up? Because that's like my biggest fear. And I took a Benadryl once. And that feeling of like your body like slowly going to bed, but you're like
Hmm.
trying to fight it. I hate it. I literally hate it so much. But yeah, so after like having a small meltdown about like what if I die, he went to the Dollar General and he got me non-drowsy Benadryl. And yeah, that's the end of my I think I probably have like I'm going through like a weird anxiety attack issue. I don't even know. So yeah, that's my medical history up to today.
Yeah, my panic attacks are a little less, are like less like, because usually, so I don't know whether to call my panic attacks anxiety attacks or panic attacks, because I feel like panic attack, like it has the connotation that you think you're like it's that feeling of like doom, of
Mm-hmm.
impending doom, and I don't really ever feel like an impending doom thought, right? But I do have all the other symptoms where I have like shortness of breath, I'm breathing extremely fast, my heart rate's up, and then my brain, instead of thinking that it's doom, I get like super robotic. Especially when I'm in like, especially during like the worst times, because the hardest trigger that I have is people that is being in a room filled with people that I want to look, I want to be look positive to, look in a positive way to. Um, and there is nobody who's like on like there's not enough people on my side to make me feel comfortable.
Mm. Okay.
So the best kind of situation that I can explain is when I was with my ex and I was with their parents over Christmas. So it was like the
Oof.
setting of me, and it was like our first year, like a couple of months, and it was like my first time like hanging out with them all. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's me trying to be as good as possible, like the perfect person, because I don't want them to feel, like like their, child has made the wrong decision or whatever. So I'm just trying to like be really, really good, really, really nice. And then what ends up happening is I just get this like super, super panic attack, and you'll end up basically noticing me just being like super, super robotic, and like, yeah, I start sweating. Not like well, I guess the sweating's not that much actually. But I do look very like perfect because I try not to
Mm.
do anything that's out of what I absolutely need to do. I will like and
Oh.
it's so much that I will plan out movements. So I haven't gotten too far with my my therapist, because she wanted to try and test me with like some form of like OCD, because I do have a lot of those, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
similar kind of things with that. And so one of those things is that, well, when I do get this kind of like panic attack or whatever, I start to plan every single possible thing that could happen like way ahead of time. And so like I'll be like, if it's like, oh hey, let's go to like,
Like even in the moment?
yep, exactly, in the moment, exactly. Before I move my
Oh my
hand on the
goodness.
table, I think I'm going to move my hand on the table, and I start to think about like all the bad things that could happen because of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those are my panic attacks, and I've had those for a long time. To the point at which now it's kind of normal. Sometimes I'll be like, "Huh, I'm having a panic attack. I'm having it again,
Mm.
whatever." Yeah, it just became like,
Just me being a robot.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like, oh well, this again. I've tried some. Recently, I've been doing a lot of breathing exercises. by like puckering your mouth and like only allowing like a very small amount of air to leave, and then just breathing through that hole. Um, that kind of helps with the panic attacks, and just like closing your eyes and breathe, like doing like a in and out woo saw is pretty good. But yeah, those are my panic attacks. More anxiety
Wow.
attacks than panic attacks, but I get those very often. Also,
Yeah,
I wanted
I
to.
tried to do I was gonna say,
Mhm.
I tried to do the whole breathing thing, but I think in my mind, I like to see results and like responses really quickly. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, nothing is like happening fast enough. So like something must, I think I'm more panic. I'm not like robot. I think I'm definitely more like
Hmm.
panic, like doomsday in my own head. And like, I'm gonna fucking die right now type of thing. If I don't see my heart rate immediately go down, which is unrealistic. But yeah, my husband is like, you just need to remind yourself that you're like okay and like
Yeah.
not be so in your head. And I was like, yeah. So when I start to feel that feeling, I'll just like tell myself, like, this is so dumb. And I'll just be like, you're okay, bitch, because
Yeah.
I am okay. It's been confirmed like 2 times, three
Hmm.
times now. So, mm, yay.
Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Tell yourself that you're okay and everything. That's that's important. I did want to say that I am very lucky when it comes to my veins. Like you said, I cannot stand through multiple hits in the arm. I hate it. I don't like needles. I hate them a lot. I've been getting a lot better with them recently. I also had a needle have to go in me for the ER appointment or whatever the fuck it was. Um, and I'm lucky that whenever a nurse sees my veins, they're always like, "Oh my gosh, you're perfect," because
Really
I have very large veins. They're very easy to find. Um,
jealous.
yeah, it always makes me feel good because it's always something that they compliment me about, which is just very strange, but it's really cool. It's like it's something that's very odd that I'm complimented on often. Yeah, I can't do multiple shots. No. Oh, no. I'm never good at the doctor then. Nope.
Yeah. So I'm jealous of you because I was stuck like 4 different times. And like the last guy that finally got it, he had to like literally roll my vein and I had to feel it. And it was like just really uncomfortable, but push through it. Just gotta think of something else, I suppose.
Yeah. Ugh. You had like four different band-aids on you?
Well, like so they did, so to start, a tech started and she couldn't find my veins on one arm. On like if you're looking at me directly, my left arm, and then the right arm, they stuck it in my hand, and that like didn't feel good. I definitely had a band-aid, and then like 2 times on like the actual like where they normally do it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I had to like wear like one band-aid, but it was just like uncomfortable, and they're like, "Dang, your veins! I can't find them. Oh, I thought I got it. It rolled away," and I was like, "What?
Jeez.
Okay." But they got it done. So
Yeah, we've been having some health scares.
I
Uh,
know, gotta love August, man. This is like the prime month of just the decline of summer and the decline of our health.
yeah. It's the impending doom to a lot of times. Maybe it's our bodies just trying to remember, the feeling that you get when you're about to start school again. It's like,
Probably,
oh,
honestly.
time to break down.
It really is, though. My body said, okay, time to break down before you get better.
Hmm. Do you remember all the things that we talked about last time?
Alex, I cannot tell you one single thing we talked about, which is so bad.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I
Um,
literally don't remember anything.
well, the one thing that I did talk about was Texas. I went to
Oh,
Texas,
yes. Did you get your refund? Okay, now I remember. Yeah. Did you get your refund for your mushroom?
so I
Your
did get my refund.
nice.
And for those who do not know, a quick refresher, which isn't a refresher because no one has heard it before except for you, is I went to Texas for an anime convention in
Yeehaw.
July, and it was in Houston, Texas. It was a really fun convention. A lot of stuff happened, but the thing that's the most, pertinent to the conversation that we just had was that the apartment that we got, which was an Airbnb, and upon first entry, you could smell just mildew. It was just the smell of mildew. It just smelled it smelled so just right. And so the guy basically the owner of the apartment was like, he walked over and he was like, hey, yeah, the reason why is because this room ended up flooding, and so we're gonna have to take this room out, and you guys are gonna have to use like the other rooms rather than this room. And like we were like, okay, whatever. And he was like, yeah, don't open the door. And the door was obviously like, it had so much water on the door, like you could barely even open it in the first place. But yeah, so this apartment was so broken, and we started like waking up, like just feeling so sick. It was just this horrible feeling of waking up. It made you feel like you were waking up with like with a cold, but the moment you left the house, the cold was gone. So it was very disgusting. The air conditioner would leak, and so there would be puddles on the floor. So when you're walking around with your
That's
socks,
disgusting.
it's so disgusting. There was pizza in a closet, in my closet rather. It was just in
Okay,
the.
you did not tell me that.
I 100% told you.
No way.
that was a thing. Yeah, I remember
Oh
you
my
talking more
god.
about it. But yes, there was just pizza. It was like these like two things of pizza in the corner of a closet in the house. And I was just like,
Like
what
pizza
the fuck?
boxes
No,
full of
pizza.
pizza?
Just pizza.
Like
It
two
was
slices of pizza?
two slices of pizza. Yeah, it was just in the corner. It just on the ground. I didn't know why. It was just like,
Oh
what the
my
fuck? I actually
god.
forgot to even send you that picture. I actually have that picture.
What?
Um, yeah, remind me to give you that picture because that was disgusting. So yeah,
That's foul.
there was a lot that happened, and so the final, like one of the final days in that apartment, I woke up one day and I was like, all right, time to take a shower. I took as I was going into the bathroom, I saw this kind of like this disc that was like at the very foot of the flooded room, and like the disc looked like it was hovering. It was very strange, and like walking around, like walking like close to it would like move the air around it, and it'll like vibrate. And so I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. It kind of looked like there was like a spider web, and like in that spider web was the disc, right? So the air kind of like moved the spider web, which moved the disc, and it was like, okay, whatever. In my head, I was like, that makes sense. Let's just continue. So I finished taking the shower, blah blah. We're getting ready to go to back to the anime convention, and then one of our roommates was like, "Hey, there's a mushroom growing out of the room over there." And I was like, "Oh, that's what that was." And so yeah, there was a mushroom growing out of this moldy ass room, this like flooded room. It was
Great.
really disgusting. And so at that moment, we were like, all right, I think we have enough to be able to get our money back because this is fucked. So we ended up, we talked to the people, and they were like, yeah, that kind of sounds fucked. Sorry for that. And they said they were going to give us our money back. And so they finally did. They finally gave us our money back. And they ended up moving us on the last day. They moved us to a new apartment, which was amazing. It was like exactly what it was supposed to be like. It smelled really good. The couches were really soft. It was just a really good time. And I was like, yeah, this is what it was supposed to be like. But it was the last day instead, like,
Exactly.
yeah, because I spent 7 days in Houston.
Oh
Yeah, it
wow.
was a long vacation. It was really fun. It was really fun. It was fun because uh I just had like there was no worries on my side. I didn't care about anything. The people that I was hanging out with were new people, so like they would have problems, and I would help them to the best of my abilities. But I had no like connection, like no hard connection to them or anything like that. So it was very easy to be able to try my best and not have any like emotional attachment to the outcome of those problems. Um, and so yeah, it was just me. I was just chilling. I was going to parties. I was going to raves. It was so much fun. I got super drunk sometimes and super high sometimes, and it was just a great
Nice.
time. I only did alcohol and weed. I didn't do anything more. I One of the friends that I had
Good.
that I made, he had tabs. He was like, "Hey, you should
Oh,
totally take a tab with me." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna let you do that
no.
first, and
Yeah,
I'll watch you do
I'll
it.
watch.
Yeah, I'll watch, and if everything's okay, then I'll think about it." Um, but then again, I kind of like let the day go on, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I just shouldn't. Like, my rule is to only take drugs that I've tested. So if I have never tasted the
Yes.
drugs, then I'm not taking it. And so yeah, so I was just like, no, I'm not gonna end up taking it. So I didn't, and you know what? I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like like I missed out on something. I was just like, nah, that's my rule. Therefore, I'm not gonna do it. He was like, yeah, okay, fine. He wasn't mad. We were still pretty cool. Speaking of which, I still have to talk to him again because we have very similar likes and stuff like that. He's an animator, and so he might be able to, and he has an entire like group of people who are animators, and so we were talking about like actually working together and making like a game or something like that. So I do have to get back to him at some point, work on that because that'd be really fun. That'd be a project that I can't wait to do. I think
Yes.
that was it. Really creepy dude. Oh yeah. And then in one of the parties, it was like so it was this guy's party, right? And I don't think it was his birthday, but he was just trying to be the center of attention when you could tell that not everyone wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Mm,
And the way that he acted was very, very young. And people kind of started sniffing that. Like they started feeling that. It's like, hey, like the way that he would like
yeah.
do certain things, it's just like, hey, how old are you? Um and so
Like childish
very, very, very
tendencies.
childish. Very childish. And one, it's amazing how fast, as like a 23, 24 year old, you're able to sniff out fucking like young adults. Like 18-year olds, 16-year olds, 19-year olds. You're able to like sniff those out because they are so much different than you are. There's a glint in their eye. And you're able to like spot that from like
Yes,
miles away, and you're like, yeah, that guy's like 18, 17. Like they haven't seen the world.
they're
Um
young.
yeah, they're very young. And so like this guy, he started trying to make like beer pong happen. And he ended up making it happen. He ended up kind of like getting everybody to get it working, which honestly it worked out. We actually we had a pretty fun time. But the problem was that he wanted to play spin the bottle. Uh, and so basically
What?
the idea was whoever so we would do beer pong and we had teams and it was like first to sub number. I think it was like first to three or rather first to all the cups being gone. Never mind, that's beer pong. And so the people who lost, they were going to spin the bottle and whoever the bottle hit, they were supposed to do whatever the the guy who created all of this, whatever he dared them to do. And then if they didn't do it, then his words was that he wanted to spank those people. He had a belt, and he was gonna hit the people who didn't do the thing. And so
No, thank you.
yeah, it was very strange, and he was very very into that part. Everybody else was very into the beer pong part. It was really really fun.
Uh-huh.
But then
That
that
sounds
part,
fun.
yeah, that part kind of like it started getting really weird. But
Yes.
I think the first one was fine. I think the first area was like something like super dumb. Uh, it was something super dumb and super like childish, which was I think it was like two guys like what was it? I think it was actually the creepy one first. So basically it's the girl this girl she lost. She was this very very innocent girl. I could totally be friends with her. Probably couldn't be anything more because of how innocent she is. I'm not into that. But she was very very adorable. And so she lost to spin the bottle. And it kind of and no no, not the guy who was coming up with the dares. He was like, oh well, so you're gonna have to kiss somebody. And you could tell that she didn't want to do it. She was just like, nah, let's not do that. And like he was very persistent on it. He was like, nope, nope, you gotta kiss somebody, you gotta kiss somebody. And then everybody was like, dude, chill. She doesn't want to do it. This is kind of weird. Don't do that. And so he was being very, very pushy. And so she did the master maneuver of running to actually one of my friends, who was there. And then basically she ended up getting him to accept that she was just going to kiss my friend. So they were both girls. And so she was comfortable with doing that. And he was like, okay, whatever. So it happened. And like that was like the first kind of like, all right, dude, like chill. Like this guy needs to chill. And then we continued playing. We continued playing the, like, you know, Pong or whatever the fuck it's called. And it was just like some just other weird stuff. Like again, like I think the one of the dare was literally just to get hit by a belt twice. I'm very glad that it never landed on me. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was just like, why can't you just do something that's like chill and like, you know, that everybody could be happy and like laughing about instead of this. This
not
is
like
just
weirdly
annoying.
sexual.
Yeah, exactly. He was just
Basically sexual.
being very overly sexual. But there's two parts that kind of like made all of that kind of worth it. And that was that one, he ended up losing at like the very end. And so the bottle landed on him.
Little weirdo.
And so you could tell he was not happy. He was like, fuck. Like now they have to do the thing. And so I think all the thing was or no. Wait. I think it was that the friend that brought the tabs, he ended up getting landed the bottle on. And I think I think the dare was that like he had to suck someone's toes. And so he was like, all right, I'll suck your toes. And so he grabbed that guy and he was like, all right, get your feet up. And the guy was like, no. He's like, nope, do it. And so it was just hilarious. I think it was on my Snap for a while. And yeah, no, he sucked his toes. And it was just hilarious. It was so fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's odd. Okay.
Yeah, I really wish I saved that video. I don't remember if I did. But and then the second thing was that we ended up like the party started finishing up, and so we ended up like going down the hallway. We kind of like chilled in this kind of like because it was it was in like a very, very like rich apartment complex place, and so like in the hallways there are sometimes these kind of areas where you can sit and kind of, you know, chill and talk to people, and you can like see the town or whatever. And so we were chilling there. I met some pretty cool people. And then we finished all our conversations. There were some very interesting conversations, but nothing that's very important to the story. They're their own one-off stories that I'll tell like in years or whatever, in days or whatever. And so we went back to the room, and he was fucking knocked out completely. He was on his ass. It was hilarious. He was just because the thing that pissed me off the most, all of that was annoying. That was very annoying. Whatever. The thing that pissed me off the most was that the last round of the fucking beer pong. So we didn't actually have beer in the beer pong. We had cocktails that he mixed. And so
are you serious?
Yes.
That's
and so
dangerous.
The problem and that the thing that first tipped me off, or rather just kind of further tipped me off of his inexperience, was what he mixed together. And so he just kind of threw stuff in cups, and I was watching him mix that, and I was like, you probably shouldn't mix those together. That does not look good. And he put a shit ton in there. So he basically filled them up like they were, like it did have liquor. Beer in it. Yeah. He filled them up as if it had beer in it, but it was liquor. It was hard liquor.
God.
And so I'm like looking at that shit like, oh my God. And I had previously like downed like one of the cups. And I was just I was just like, fuck, I cannot hit one of those again.
Oh no.
And so
you'd be fucking out.
Yeah.
Or, like, throwing up.
Yeah. It was really, really bad. And so the reason why he was out cold was that when he lost, because he lost, he had to take his cup, and his cup was the thing that he himself made, and so he didn't want to drink the cup, and what a scumbag fucking person, honestly. He didn't want to drink the cup because he knew it was fucked.
Oh yeah.
And so like, and so everybody. So luckily there was like this one guy who was kind of pissed at him already because like he was being very like again the kid was being very pushy. So that this guy was just very annoyed with him, and the guy was already also drunk. He was like, no, 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 you drink that cup. Because what he did was he saw what everybody else saw was that he obviously tried to fake drinking out of the cup and like put it out in the background. And we were just, and then so the guy was just like, nope, fucking drink that cup. And he was like, ah, really? And he's like, nope, drink that cup. And he tried every way in the book to try to not drink that cup. He drank that fucking cup and he was out cold. Fuck that guy.
Do you even know
Huh?
like, what did he mix into it? Like what liquor?
What was it? I wish I remembered. So it was like one. It was like this pink. It was like this pink. Like what's out? What's the beverages that are like Angry Orchard? I forgot what it's called. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
Angry
cider.
Orchard.
Yeah, hard. Like he put
Okay,
like a hard
a cider,
lemonade.
like a cider beer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, like a Mike's
Yeah, like a
or
Mike's. Yeah, like
Twisted Tea.
yeah. So he put like a Mike's in there. Then he had, I think he had, I think it was Jameson. He put Jameson.
Oof.
And then and then it was probably vodka. Now that I think about it.
Oh my God.
And he just, I think, was it Jameson? I think so it was the vodka and that and the hard cider. It was I don't remember if it was Jameson, Hennessy,
Jack Daniels?
or whiskey. It was one of those three.
Jesus.
So yeah, it was
God
just
bless.
not it was just not the it was not the move.
God.
So but the thing is that so for the vodka and the hard lemonade we'll call it. It was like pink lemonade. It was pink. But the hard lemonade, like those are like an eighth, like two, okay, let's say 2/8, 1/4, not 1/4, so we're gonna say like an eighth of the cup. Yeah, it was like an eighth of a cup. The Jameson, Hennessy, or whiskey, I don't know which one it was, but that was like half of the cup. So
God.
it was just
How
fucked.
did he not die?
It was
Jesus.
fucked. I ended up having to take one of those too. It was
That
fucked.
is
Yeah.
too much.
I'm so glad that I ended up like waiting and like I kind of like sat in the corner and just chilled out. I'm glad that like because I kind of chilled out, he ended up getting like too in over his head, so he kind of stopped his teammates from playing because he just wanted to win. So we just didn't have to drink a lot. So he ended up like drinking most of it. But yeah, yeah. What am I trying to say? But yeah. So that was good. Luckily, I didn't get fucked up because of it. I was able to properly extend out my drinks. I'm old enough now to know when my body is like, all right, if you take another fucking sip, you are gone. The first time that it ever happened to me was when I was in college, and we went to this like random house party. And like I was just drinking on drinking on drinking. There were just shots everywhere, and I just didn't know where my limit was. And I could physically feel when my body, like I had that last shot, and then my body looked at that shot and it said, "If you fucking take that shot, you are fucking gone for the rest of the day."
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what this feeling means. YOLO. And then I got fucked up, and what ended up happening? I just kind of threw up on the toilet.
I'm gonna say yeah, you threw up and you just like passed out after throwing up.
No, I didn't pass out. I don't ever pass out.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never been blackout drunk. I've never passed out. I've always remembered everything. I do think that being blackout is a very interesting thing. I do one day want that to happen on accident, just because I like I like the idea of because the interesting part is that when you black out, it's almost as if you do not exist.
Oh, you definitely don't.
Yeah,
I can tell you firsthand.
Yeah,
your brain is in outer space.
Yeah,
but yet you still function.
Exactly. So it's like you blink and you've never been a part of that that life there, because you've never remembered it. So the only possible way for you to understand what happened is by talking to people about it and stuff like that. So kind of that feeling, that kind of idea, it interests me. It interests me to be able to do that. And in a way, funny enough, I don't know why, it was recently I kind of thought about it. That's kind of probably what death is like. Except probably not the
What?
yeah, probably not the waking up, but the fact that
True.
you were not in existence,
Like in
basically.
limbo.
Yeah, you were in limbo, and it was just for X amount of time, and the feeling that you felt, which was literal nothingness. There was time that happened, and you didn't feel an inch of that. That is probably what death is like. Anyway, yeah, I don't know where I go, how I got to that point.
I can tell you firsthand, blacking out, I've done it multiple times. I started drinking probably way too young. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would like push my limits way too hard. Like I remember this is so embarrassing to talk about, but I remember my husband and I, another couple, and then three other guys, we all went to Cape Cod, I believe, uh, where the NASA thing is in Florida. I think that's
Yeah,
Cape Cod.
something like that.
Is that, yeah, something, sure. But anyways, we went there for I think like Labor Day weekend, and I remember one day I had like I was pounding like vodka Red Bulls, and I only thing I remember is pounding vodka Red Bulls. We somehow made it to the beach, and I started crying. And I remember sitting on the cooler outside of the hotel, and my husband was like, "Okay, you need to stop crying." And I was like, "Okay." And I kind of tried to hold it together because he couldn't find the key or something. And we got into the room. I remember just passing out, and then I finally woke up. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And he was like, you were like blackout drunk, like crying on the beach, and we had to leave. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And like you said, like blacking out, it's like you don't exist because our friend posted photos on Instagram and tagged me. And I literally, Alex, had no
Mm-hmm.
recollection of ever taking those photos, smiling for those photos, like my memory from that day is literally just being on the beach. It was super hot. There were tons of people. I was literally crying. And my husband was like, we need to go. And I like could barely walk. It was so bad. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's like yeah, pretty much what you said. Like you're there but not really there. And sometimes I'll just get kind of like blackout drunk if my husband's playing video games, and I'll like come to the office and I say really bad things, like really embarrassing things. And he tells me that next morning, and I feel really guilty and embarrassed. But yeah, it's literally like your brain, you just left it in the toilet, and then the next morning you pick it up, but you have no idea what just happened in those like past hours. So I would not recommend it, but I still do it anyway sometimes just to feel a little something going on.
Isn't being blackout drunk literally nothing, feeling nothing?
I know, so I just want to feel nothing, I guess. But I mean, hey, if you want to do it, do it with a group of people you trust and admire.
Yeah, but you need to. I don't know. You need to try like Molly,
Fuck
but
no, I cannot.
or
The only drug
LSD.
I can do is alcohol. No, the only drug I can do is alcohol. I don't think I trust my brain enough to like do Molly or LSD, even in a safe space, because I just think as I get older, I just get too into my head, and I just start to think of like who really is like so afraid to take Benadryl that they start crying, being like, I'm afraid I'm not gonna wake up. Like who thinks about that stuff? Like so I
So
can't imagine my brain on Molly or
for
LSD.
okay, so for LSD, that might be the case. If again, I think I've said this before, but if anything, I would only tell you to microdose on LSD, because you can freak yourself out if you have too much or if you have yeah. But
Even
microdosing
just
is silly and it never
microdosing,
happens.
oh hell no. I don't know. I just don't trust my body enough. Like I know my limit. Like how you figure out your alcohol limit, I think I know my substance abuse limit. And I will not be dipping my toe in either of those drugs
Okay.
ever.
Uh, so for so yeah, for LSD, I think that that's kind of I kind of agree that it would be a very hard argument. Although I do believe that you probably don't know too much about LSD because you kind of feel that way. But at the same time, that is kind of an experience that very rarely some people do have. So there's no way for me to possibly be like, oh yeah, like you won't have that for sure or anything like that. Although it's extremely rare, I wouldn't. I'm not going to tell you to do it because you know, in the case that that happens, you should probably be the safest possible. Um, why is that not moving? Okay, never mind. And so, but when it comes to Molly, on the other hand, and if you take the proper amount, which is like, it's like, I think Molly specifically is like measured in your weight, I'm pretty sure, or is that 2CP? I think it's Molly. But when you take that on the other hand, that doesn't, that's not, it's not psychedelic to like LSD. Like it doesn't make you see weird shit, like, or anything like that. All it is, the best way that I could explain it is that it's like a truth serum. It just makes you feel very open and very happy. And there's like, in fact, I'm pretty sure there's like no really way, unless you take like, again, way too much. So if you take the proper amount like you're supposed to, there's not really any way to freak out, because it's just, everything is great. That's all Wally feels like, is everything is really great, really amazing. And the fact, that's the reason why people, you should always, like, take it very responsibly, like once, like a couple of months or something like that, because if you take it more, then that's the reason why people start to get hooked on it. And of course, if if it starts breaking the bank, then that can be very, very bad for you financially. But if you ever take it like once, I think it'd be a very interesting experience, because it just makes you feel happy. It's not LSD, weed, alcohol are all things that turn you into an experience, turn you into a way, and that turn you a way, and the way that you turn determines your experience. Instead, it seems like Molly just gives you an experience. It gives you a happy experience. No matter what happens, you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna be like, "Oh, this is everything's really, really good. Like, feels really, really good right now." Yeah, and I always say, especially, I think it's always good to try it with somebody that you trust. And also, when you're used to it, or you've tried it with somebody you trust, or if that person that you trust is somebody who you want to talk to, I would always recommend that, because me and my roommate, we tried it together. We tried it first together, and we were able to kind of like wrinkle out some folds that we had in our relationship that we didn't really know existed, and we didn't really feel comfortable enough to talk to each other about. But because it was Molly and everything felt really, really good and everything was happy, it was just like, hey, this is how I feel. And it kind of, you do this sometimes, and it makes you feel like this, and you feel comfortable saying it because everything feels happy and everything feels great. So yeah, and then in no way would I like to argue too much about like the LSD part, because again, it does not force you to have a certain experience. It just gives you like it turns you a certain way, and then that certain way, the way that you react to that certain way, is how you're going to experience it. But I think, on the other hand, is more of just an experience. And again, always take it with somebody who you trust, and always, 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 always test your drugs. Don't take anything from anybody that has not been tested yet, and if you do take it from somebody who has not been tested yet, wait and test it. Testing kits are very cheap. They're like $10 online. They're free. I mean, they're not free, but like they're illegal. It's not illegal to buy a testing kit. So to anyone out there who's thinking about this type of stuff, do that. And yeah, also do your research if you want to learn a little bit more about it.
Good PSA.
Yeah.
Buy a drug testing kit if you're new to the realm of drugs, because you never know what you're buying. Honestly, but, it's euphoria. I think that's the proper word for it. I think 2CP does the same. Again, if you do the proper amount, it just makes you euphoric. Euphoria just is like, oh, this is really good. It's like, hey, I'm content here. I feel really good. Maybe one day I'll show you the video of us on Molly at the God,
the music festival. That was very fun.
That sounds like an interesting experience. I almost took, I think, Molly or LSD at a festival, but I was like, fuck no, I can never do that to myself.
Don't ever take any date drugs from people at a festival.
Well, no, like I knew the person, but like,
oh, but you didn't test it, so like, I don't trust.
Dude, hell no. That's true though. I should have whipped out like a little drug testing kit, but
yes, like, because the problem is that some people think that they know drugs, but they don't. They think they know what it's supposed to feel like. So because they take it and it feels like what they thought it was supposed to feel like, they're like, oh yeah, this must be exactly what I bought.
Yeah.
But in the end,
But
it's probably
no.
not. Yeah, it could not be, and it's very often that's the case. That's the reason why it's very important that you just kind of scratch. If you need to, you scratch off a little bit of the stuff that you get, put it in like a testing vial. It only lasts like it only takes like 10. I think it's like 5 minutes at max or something like that. It's very short amount of time, and the testing kits last a pretty long time. Um, so yeah, always test it. I never take something that's not tested. Very important.
That PSA. That is very important. I will probably tell my kids that if I have any. Like when they get into that age. I'm not kidding. Like, okay
Oh yeah,
guys, here's a
same.
little kit, you know. Sure you may trust the person, but you can't can't trust the drug because you don't know where that drug's life has been and where it's gone through and what's in it. So I don't want to see you die because you thought you took this, but you accidentally took this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think I would probably always like have like a testing kit ready, and I'll be or actually some testing kits do expire, but I always tell my kids like, hey, like if you're ever thinking about it, just let me know, and I'll buy a testing kit. And although I don't necessarily want you to do like these specific ones,
yes.
I'll probably give them a list of ones that I'm just like, please don't. And then I'll give them a list
Yeah.
of ones that I'm like, you should probably wait until you're a certain age. But if you absolutely have to, there are testing kits that are either in the refrigerator or I would order them if you absolutely need it. Just so they can feel comfortable because the problem is that in the end you can never stop your children from doing something. You can encourage them not to, but you can never stop them from not from doing it.
hmm
Even if you think that you're a helicopter parent and you're just keeping them in the house all the time, they have to leave the house at
Oh
some point.
no.
So yeah, and the more you
Yes.
and I think it's a very human thing, but the more you push someone away from something, the more that they want to
The
do it
more they
more.
want to do it. Yes. I
Exactly.
definitely agree.
And so yeah, you're just kind of like by helicopter parenting, you're actually doing the complete opposite of what you expect, and it seems to be the case. Whenever I see like these kids like that were just like super sheltered, they turn out to be like the most like
Like
potheady like
ragers.
they turn out to be like the most ragey mother like they go hard,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
because like it's like yeah, their parents kept telling them not to do something and like completely blocking them off from it and not giving them giving them the information that they need. I think there are certain things that you can tell them not to do, tell the child not to do, but you give them the information on it. Hey, don't drink poison. It will literally kill you. You won't have another chance. Don't take meth. Meth will, although it will not kill you immediately, it is a very great experience, so great that it can ruin your life because you can't because they say that you can't after you take meth like the first time you can't imagine yourself not feeling that anymore because of how great the experience is. Apparently it's that great of an experience, and so it's like don't do that because you don't want to get fucked up because meth has very fucked up come down. It has a very horrible come down. It makes you feel really bad. It makes you feel kind of depressed and stuff like that. When you have that, when you have all of that information, a person is less likely to do the thing that that you're telling them not to do. But if you keep just telling them, "Oh, just don't do it," and they're gonna think about it and be like, "Huh." Although they said not to do it, it's right in front
I'm
of me
gonna
right
do
now.
it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So test your drugs, and treat
For
your
real
kids
though.
properly.
I I only have one other life update since we've last spoken.
Mm-hmm.
I am a part of the Soul I have to remember how to say it.
Oh yeah,
Soulcade interactive team, which
yeah,
is our mutual friend of Bill. So I am in charge of marketing,
yeah.
and I started the other day. So I'm like really excited to be along for this indie game. I honestly have no idea about the game base. So when the producer slash project manager was talking, she was like using like game developer terms, and I was
Yeah.
like, what? And then she's like, oh yeah, we talked where I was like in my head like yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know what you're fucking saying, but okay. But yeah, so I am on their team, so I'm excited to be a part of the Super Hamster Havoc game that is being worked on right now. So
Hmm.
yeah, just something, a nice high after a hard low as far as my health.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to Bill, and I was batting for you. Like,
Thank
yo.
you.
From what I've seen, especially with like our social media stuff and things like that, I was like hands down like I can't think of a better person. I was like, okay, yeah, hell yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're happy too. So yeah, that's good.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
I could cry
absolutely.
right now. I appreciate that a lot.
I'll give my
So,
last update before we get halfway
okay.
into the series or the new thing. All right, we'll talk about that after. But my life update is that I finally have a good concept on what my album is going to be. I've
Okay,
I've
that's good.
also finished writing the first song, and what I want to do is by the end of this month, which is in the next like week and a half or something like that, the end of this month, I want to I want to finish writing all the concepts of the album, of all the songs of the album. So I have all the songs that are going to be on the album. The first song has been written completely. And then all of them are just basic concepts. Just like, okay, there's the name because of what I want to get across, and there's like an idea that I want to get across. Um, and I don't know if this is how other people do it because I haven't looked into it. But the way that I've been writing recently is that first I write a poem of that has to do with the idea that I'm trying to express in the song. So and the reason why is because a poem is a lot less constraining than a song. That a song is a lot less constraining than a song
Mm-hmm.
is. And so you don't have to worry about like getting like certain words on beat. And you can finish it and get a point across in that poem. And then what I can do after that with this less constraining kind of like more free kind of work is that I can take the idea that I've created from there and again just start crunching it up a little bit more into a song. So that's what I did with my first song, and I think it's amazing. I think I said I finished it, but I think I have like one more verse to write. Um, and yeah, I'm working. It's looking pretty good. It is.
Nice.
Yeah, the
That's
album
good.
is based on the video game that I want to write, that I'm not even want to make, but I'm the one that I am making. I've already written an, like a 36th of the script. Which is
Okay.
it's a big script because it's a big game. It's a very story based game. And the Bills game is very multiplayer focused, so it's not necessarily very story based, right? So, his a lot of his time is going to be spent, making sure that people can play together very well. My most of my time is going to be spent making sure that people are impacted by it and the ideas that I want to get across are sent across. Um, and yeah, so that's it. My album is a precursor to the game. Although you don't necessarily need to listen to the album to play the game, I do want to add some sort of Easter egg in the album as well, and then we'll go from there. I'm gonna see. I think that I might be able to finish it by the end of the year, but because it's a passion project, I don't want to rush it. So
Mm-hmm.
I will probably be working on songs, in parallel, and then those songs are gonna be the ones that I'll be, putting out slowly but surely. I already have like one song almost finished that I want to put out soon too.
Yay. That's exciting. That's yeah, that's good. I'm excited to talk more about your video game because now I'm intrigued and
Yeah,
interested.
yeah, I am.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting next couple of months, or probably even years, to be honest with you, because I have a lot of things that I'm working on right
Yeah, I was gonna say you're always working on things, and I do just want to add one small low. I think I have to find a new job, so I'm now. Mm, I don't even know what the word is to describe how I feel. I am swiftly, I am binge applying to jobs. I'm
now.
praying, I'm low key lying because when people are like, oh, what are you doing college wise? I'm like, I'm in my senior year. And then they're like, oh, you can't do full time. You can only do part time. And I'm like, I'm really good at time management
Mm-hmm.
ish, pish. So, like, I need the job. Thank you. But yeah, so I'm doing my Indeed thing right now, so I'm praying somebody will like just hire me and like brush over the fact that like I'm still in college, but like I'm almost done. So like, please.
May I ask
Oh
what
God.
happened?
I think my boss is gonna close because of her health. So
Mm,
yeah, the downside to working for a small business, if the owner's like, time to quit, you're like, oh fuck, time to quit too.
yeah.
Like she gave me this whole week off, and I'm like, that's cool, but I'm also like, I'm not gonna get paid for this week, so like that's not cool. It's like a double-edged sword. So I'm very like, okay, time to look for a new job. Dang it. But it is what it is. It is life. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That does kind of suck. How did you enjoy it? Like, was it a really good job? Really fun? Or
I like a really great job. Like she was very flexible. This was like our down season, so like I could just take days off. I honestly enjoyed it. Like it's an office job, so like I had time to do like other things while at work, which I honestly like because like when your boss knows like it's really slow, they don't really care what you do in your free time on the job as long as you get like the main task done. So I'll be sad to leave this position, but I know with every job search, like there will be that one person that hopefully believes in me and will hire me. So that's like what I'm betting on. I'm having some optimism because it's happened before. So I'm praying it happens again and that I can just like sell myself. So we shall see.
okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you.
I
I
think.
just I just need to finish college and then I'll be golden. So
And I'd
uh,
imagine that Nabil isn't too against paying you as well. So I think we got
yes,
this.
I that's why I'm like very excited he offered me this position because if he never did, I would honestly like actually kind of fucked. So at least I have some income coming in and doing something like I actually kind of like to do, which is good. But
Mhm.
I'm also like, oh, I need to find something else because cost of living is just going up and up and up. So like I said, I'm trying to have some more like optimism over pessimism, just hoping that like one employer will see like the gem of a person that I am and will just be like, oh my God, we want to hire you. And I'll be like, oh my God, crying internally, thank you so much. So,
Yeah.
so on that note, after that very sad low-ish, should we move on to our new series that we're reviewing and
Uh.
bring it back up to a high and upper?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. You started because you came up with the idea.
All right,
Yeah.
so okay. All right, so I guess since this episode, I will be titling it a new season for a reason. So I guess with this new chapter, maybe not, we can continue this cool like limited series review because I don't know if you've noticed, but in just streaming media, limited series have really like become a new thing. And like in the end of 2020 to like 2021, like have you noticed that at all?
Yeah.
Because I remember on your like movie list, you had Queen's Gambit, and I was like, dude, that's like a limited series. Like, that's not a movie, but like maybe in the future we could do it. So,
Yeah.
with the like whole limited series thing, I actually watched this, but I thought you would like it. And the only downside, it is on HBO Max, so you will need to have an HBO Max subscription to watch this, which I know is very limited, but honestly, HBO pumps out some really good stuff. But the series that we will be kind of reviewing for this episode and maybe a few others, it's not that long because it is a limited series. It is called the White Lotus. Like I said, it's on HBO Max. It is a 6 episode limited series. And basically, The White Lotus is an American satire comedy drama anthology television series created, written, and directed by Mike White that premiered on HBO on July 11th, 2021. The series was, okay, no one cares. Basically, it's a film. It's a series that is based around a Hawaiian all-inclusive resort, and I believe it follows one family who also has a friend along for the vacation, a woman that just lost her mother, a newlywed couple, and it also follows some staff. It follows the manager of the spa and the general manager of the actual hotel. And I believe those are the 5 main characters that it follows from the series. And I want to ask you, what episodes did you watch?
Okay, so I actually want to kind of butt in here really quick because this is a very important question. So,
Okay.
it has indeed been over an hour for this for what we've done so far. That's 1. 2, because this is completely new. This is a new kind of idea. Are we
Should
expecting
this
people?
roll into a new episode?
Yeah, are we expecting people to pause the video and then watch X amount of episodes and then come back to the video?
Well, I feel like we should just do like it's only 6, so we could do 3 episodes for this. 2, 2, and 2. So the first episode, second episode for our next podcast, or it could even just be its own small, like mini podcast.
So that's what I was thinking. So
Okay,
the
I'm down for that.
so here's my idea. So 1, I love the fact that you even came up with the new season idea because I think we do need to change up some of the format. And the main reasoning is just that 1, these the movies, although really really good idea, sometimes either we kind of miss the movie, sometimes we just don't. We tend to like okay, that's not
We kind of ignore it.
Yeah, sometimes we ignore it and stuff like that. Sometimes the movie's just really, really fucking boring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So 1, that's probably a good idea is to kind of like split it. And 2, we are alienating the people who did not watch the movie. Because what ends up happening is that what that means is that let's say that that portion of us talking about the movie or series is like the last like 20-30% of the video. That means that if you have not watched it, you will not and probably don't want to at all watch the last 20 to 30 minutes of the video. So that's kind of like that's cutting those people out who are who just stop here. And then 2, if they know that that's going to be talked about, at least for me, if I know that somebody's going to be talking about a movie that I want to see, that I plan on seeing in a podcast,
I just do it.
Yeah, I just won't watch the podcast until I watch the movie. So I think we should have a separate one for them, so that way when people are looking to watch the video, they know what they're looking for. They're looking to watch a video about a review of the movie or said series. And 2, it just kind of gives us like these 2 episodes even, so that we can kind of like choose which one we want to put out per day. Kind of gives us a little bit more flexibility as well.
I like that.
So, with that being said, I do think that what we should do that we can wrap it up here and then immediately start the next the actual review of the 2 things in a new episode like right after this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. You heard all of that because I'm not cutting that out. I think it was a pretty cool talk. Gives you a little bit of behind the scenes, kind of makes you feel like you're part of it. If you disagree, which I don't think you can honestly disagree with that, put it in the comments. If you agree, put it in the comments. If you like what you're listening to, give it a like, give it a subscribe. If you don't like it, give it a like, give it a subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
Yes, we will see you soon, and be on the lookout now for our recaps of the White Lotus. And the first episode will be recaps of episode 1 and 2.
Yep.
Again, it is on HBO Max. If you do not have a login, create one, and it's only $14.99 a month. I gracefully gave Alex mine, and I let him create a profile on our account because honestly, It is a 5-person account, and we're only a family of 2 right now, so why not extend the olive branch to my man Alex? But anyways, besides that, guys, catch us in our
I
next
was gonna
episode.
honestly name my account something really weird, but then I was like,
Okay.
I don't know the humor of your husband, so I was
It is
like,
very weird, so you'd be
because
fine.
I was just gonna because my name usually is the best Alex, so I was gonna put that, but I just again I didn't know the humor, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put Alex.